All right, folks, we are live. I was your host, Dash V, but now I'm the blue-haired wonder. So with me today, I have a couple other folks.
I'm Jeremy.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Lizzie Hedgehog, cosplaying as Sonic Link. Can you guess which game it's from? That would be cool, because there's only two from Sonic Lost World, but which one is it? And we have an awesome guest, the lovely and beautiful Sophia the First.
Sophie the First, like it. Hi, I'm OhMy Sophie.
Hi there. Now, OhMy Sophie, right? I noticed that it's as I was trying to type it into the tags for our YouTube. It's OhMy exclamation point Sophie. So is it pronounced OhMy Sophie or is it OhMy Sophie?
It's a little bit more like George. Oh my.
That's what I thought. So Tyler's joining us fashionably late as ever. How's it going, my friend?
Good. You sent the email to my wrong damn email address. I couldn't figure out where I was supposed to go. Okay.
Okay. All right. I only have the one email address for you, my friend, but I apologize.
It's okay.
So, Tyler, we're glad that you're back. His machine caught a cold the last couple of weeks, so Tyler's been out of commission. So, but we're glad to have you back, man. We missed you a ton.
It's good to be back.
So, alrighty. So our episode for today is primarily going to focus on, if you guys couldn't guess, right? Sophie is a cosplay individual. So she's going to talk to us a bit about, as many folks already watching already know, Lizzie enjoys cosplay, and me, well, I try, but it doesn't always work out. So I get an E for effort. But we're going to be asking some questions, talking a bit about, cosplay and the scene and things like that. And I think that you guys will have a lot of fun because there's a lot of tie-ins between cosplay and gaming, and we'll get into that. So, but before we get into that, I wanted to give Lizzie an opportunity to talk about a recent Sonic announcement that we heard, right? It's been confirmed.
Oh, yes. Sonic Mania is finally coming out in August. So I am really happy. So the video, if you haven't seen it, folks, it is gorgeous. I mean, if you grew up on this guy in the 90s, you're going to love what you see, because, I mean, it's basically that up there. And you can get it for the PS4, for the Switch, for the Xbox, for the PC. And apparently people are already pre-ordering it on Stream or Steam. What is it called, Steam or Stream?
Steam.
I don't know. Okay. Well, it's already there. So, I mean, the video is just gorgeous. So, really, I am beyond happy. I can't wait for it to come out in August. Early birthday present for me.
String Bean Coffee says in response to OhMy Sophie is, it's like George Takei. Oh my. So Mystic Mania, thank you. He asks, how is everyone tonight? I am fabulous. How are you, Lizzie?
Oh, I am so happy after that video.
All right, Kyle, how are you doing, my friend?
I am pretty good. I'm really enjoying that blue hair that you have, Chris. It just really looks very glam rock, I guess. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm enjoying the purple hair. Sophie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's real late here, but I'm really hyper.
I think it's Pokemon. You're channeling, or all the Pikachu behind you are like focusing their energy into you.
Normally by now I'm like exhausted, but nope, today the Pikachus are here for me.
There we go. Jeremy, how you feeling, my friend?
Good. I should dye my hair blue for this episode.
All right. I think you have the first question for Sophie.
Yes, I do. What is cosplay to you, and why do you do it?
So cosplay to me is, I got into, besides just loving cosplay, but it's a challenge. I like to challenge myself. It's something I never thought I could do back when I used to just buy all my cosplays and go to conventions. So it's a constant challenge. What was the second half of that?
And why do you do it? What does it mean to you?
Yeah, so it means like it's a challenge. It means a lot to me, but mainly because it pushes me. I finally am doing something that I thought I could never do. And then I love it. Sorry, you guys are cutting out a little bit. I apologize if I
We can always repeat. It's no problem. If we do a cutout, we can just go ahead and repeat. So I think you got most of that question.
Okay.
Lizzie, do you want to do the next one?
Yes. What is the most time-consuming cosplay you've done by hand or by machine or, you know?
My friend, I did a version of Arthas from World of Warcraft that my good friend CJ Marsh, artwork of CJ, drew, and that was by far the most grueling. Besides the fact that it involved a lot of skills that I didn't have yet, it was just it took 2 months of working 30 hours a week on it and redoing and remaking. It was. I've worn it twice after all that work.
Oh, wow. I can only imagine. I've been there.
Yeah. So now you mentioned, I'm going to throw an extra bonus question in there. You mentioned skills and stuff that you've gained, especially ones that you didn't start with. Talk to us about, like, what are some of the skills that you acquired while, you know, through doing cosplay?
Most of them. So the main one I would say is sewing. Sewing, I didn't take sewing in school. It's nothing I was ever interested in until I was like, hey, if I'm going to do this, I have to, you know, figure this out. And so I taught myself with YouTube videos. And I think that's the thing I'm most proud of. Like every time I do something on my sewing machine and make something, I'm like, I did it again.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I think that's the main reason why I'm a horrible cosplayer. Like I would not, like, my sewing ability is nil. So I'd be, you know, trying to go on Etsy or something and pick up, you know, pick up stuff that there's folks on Etsy actually that I've seen that have done just fantastic wigs, fantastic outfits and things like that that would just look, you know, amazing. And you're supporting like an indie, you know, an indie creator.
Yeah, I think Etsy's a fantastic place.
Yeah, I think it's pretty incredible. Just like seeing, especially while some people are able to just hand make with their cosplays. I know like some of the bigger cons, they'll have those cosplay competitions, and some of those, like, literally just about everything has to be done by hand for some of the people that enter those. And it's really just amazing to see what they can do. And like, not people who are, you know, working like a studio professionally or anything, even though some people do cosplay like professionally, but just what people are able to make with their hands. It's really neat.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is like so time consuming, and I mean, it's expensive. I mean, some people think, oh, that's cheap. I go, if you get it already made, maybe. Then there's like closet cosplay where you just find stuff in your closet because you're gonna cosplay a Pokemon trainer, things like that. But that stuff is expensive. Thank God for Joanne, you know, coupons.
Joanne Fabrics.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually, I just started trying to learn how to sew a little bit, and I actually started getting stuff at Walmart because it's a little bit cheaper than there.
Good place to learn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think Tyler will have our third question if we want to go to our next one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you were talking about the costs. Well, like I said, Lindsay was talking about the costs. What's the most expensive one that you've done? And how much do you typically spend, I guess?
I would say Arthas was definitely the most expensive just because it's all Wonderflex. Every single piece. That's my second costume that every single piece is handmade. And I didn't like it's the first one that every single piece is handmade. And so even down to like casting, how much? Probably $400 into it, and that includes like the failure pieces, like gauntlets. Getting them so perfectly round is not like a skill of mine. So I had to redo that about 6 times, and that's just materials I was wasting. So probably close to $400.
So casting and stuff, you're talking about like actually making mold and pouring it and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's something I'm trying to get. That's one of the skills that is like something I'm working on right now. It's not one of my best skills. It'll get better.
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So casting's kind of just tough anyway.
So, you said you're working with casting. Like, what's the, I guess, maybe the most elaborate or the most complicated thing that you've made when it comes to casting in particular?
Nothing yet, really. I've just made spikes, and I'm getting ready to try and make jewels. So I have a friend who made this fantastic keyblade, and it has these beautiful resin cast jewels on it, and so that's what I step up to after ACON. Try to.
Oh, wow.
Nice. Well, I will go ahead and bring up our next question, and this is one that we can probably go into a little more in. Which cosplay is the one that's been funnest for you to do? And now, fun being for whatever reason, I guess that maybe some experiences you had when you were cosplaying it, or maybe the process of making it, just whatever one was most fun for you.
I think that so far now it would be Diva, because a lot of people don't realize Diva is a Diva skin, or that so I've been called futuristic Pikachu. The character from Venture Brothers, I can never remember her name.
Oh, the Queen Lady, yeah.
Yeah, I've had people online, they'll be like, you know, like, there'll be like a post, it'll be like, what is everyone cosplaying this weekend? And I'll put Diva, and they'll be like, it's Diva, fake nerd. So it's just all around, just to say the word Diva, because most people don't know what it is.
Yeah, at first I didn't even recognize that one either, and I was like, what is that? And then I recognized, oh, it's the Diva skin, yeah. So
I like it. I like it large.
did you sew all of that costume yourself, or did you buy some parts from somewhere, or how did you go about doing that one?
The costume itself was entirely commissioned while I was working on Vincent Valentine. So sometimes if I have I have to make at least one costume a month, and usually it's two. So sometimes if I'm working on something bigger, I'll commission something else.
Mm-hmm.
So the costume itself was commissioned, and I made all the accessories for it, except the gun, which was made by Brotherhood Props.
Okay,
All
cool.
right, so talk to us a little bit about for those of us that are not in the cosplay or costume generation scene. What does commissioned mean?
A lot of cosplayers do commissions or websites where you just send them like, hey, here are my measurements. This is what I want. Zentai is really great for commissions. Like, you can just buy costumes off of there, but you can also give them specific patterns that you want. Like, people have been doing like really unique divas, like the Harley Diva. So basically just paying somebody else to make a design that you have.
Okay, interesting. So what's the I think we kind of already touched on this one, but and I think I know the answer, but what's the most difficult cosplay that you've done? And I guess it doesn't even have to necessarily be the there's doing the cosplay, right? And then there's pulling off the cosplay, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think is has been the most challenging to pull off cosplay that you feel you successfully did?
Probably more recently would be or Bologna from Smite. That's a costume that was the first costume I handmade. Every single piece of that is handmade, and it's hand stitched because my sewing machine broke. And it was, again, my first time working with a lot of different things, and not only was it really hard to make, and I had to make it in less than a month. I had 3 weeks.
Oh wow!
It was probably harder than Arthas, but also wearing it, I was really happy that people knew what it was because I had made it, but also like I felt like the character in it. Like I felt like I could pull it off, and I wasn't sure I would. I was a little bit worried. Was
there a cosplay that you've done that was just difficult, like brutal? I think I'm jumping ahead, maybe, aren't I? But
it's okay.
I'll do it anyway. It's okay, right? If you don't like it, I'll take that one off the show. No, has there been a cosplay that's been just not necessarily challenging in a like hard capacity, but in a like, I can't wait to get this cosplay, I can't wait to get this costume off of me, or these props off me, like I'm so done with this outfit?
I am probably anything with a corset, for sure. 12-hour days on the floor, like, usually corsets are awful. A long time ago, I made an Aqua Woman. It's not very good. There's no photos of it. And I pulled the corset too tight because I was trying to create a certain body shape, and I didn't know how to do that yet. And before I went to my panel, I actually blacked out.
Oh, wow.
But I still went to my panel afterwards. I laid in a car for a little bit. But that was the one that when the end of the day came and I like take it off, I was like, yes.
That is dedication.
Cosplay can be painful, folks. It's not all fun and games.
It is.
Oh yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I think one of the most difficult things is when you're making your costume and you have to remain a certain weight, because then you got the cosplay diet where I gotta lose 5 pounds and within 2 weeks to fit into this costume.
The
Yeah, in a
cosplay
way,
would
it's.
be where, yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, she's like Lizzie said, it's just a constant struggle to be like a little bit better than you are. Like it puts that in your head, you know? So you think about it, you're like, I'm gonna lose 5 more pounds before this cosplay. But then there's pizza.
Yeah, pizza kind of ruins it.
Tyler has a pizza parlor right there in his room. He can.
I do.
Yeah.
So Tyler, come on. You got to show her the pizza pillow.
Tyler, you
It's
mean?
Kyle.
Or I'm Kyle.
Kyle.
I'm
Kyle.
sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm like,
It's the heat. The
Oh.
heat from the wig is frying my brain.
All right, let me grab it.
I actually I did have pizza over here too, actually.
Mm.
See, I sense that. I could sense the pizza.
He actually has a pillow.
Sorry, I'm wearing shorts. It is so hot in here. So here is.
It's just you, my friend.
Oh, Chris, please save it for after the show, okay?
Okay. All right.
So yes, this is the pizza pillow that keeps making its appearance for some reason on the show. So you can see it's very delicious. My friend Sherry got it for me to, I guess, go with my pizza parlor tablecloth.
Now you
Mystic Mania throws a question in from the chat. We haven't asked this yet, Mystic, so I'll go ahead and throw it in there. He asks, are there any cosplays you would like to do, but up to present has been too expensive to pull off?
Metal Gear Solid Raiden.
Oh, wow.
Whatever you choose to say it. I want it to be like, I want it to move. I love him so much and I want to compete in it and I want to get on stage and I just want to say, I am lightning, the range formed, and drop the mic. But I want it to be perfect. It's probably going to cost stupid amounts of money. I want to make it all by hand. So it's something I keep telling people, like, I'm going to start that next month. And no.
Yeah. That's gonna be one of those you need slightly more than 3 weeks to pull off kind of thing, right?
Yeah. And I don't have the time. I want to make it like a year-long goal, perhaps. You know, work on it slowly between other things.
So kind of going off that, especially when you get into cosplays that are so expensive, and I know you talked about some of them you might only wear a few times. You know, how many times do you usually take your costumes to a few different cons, or do you only wear it maybe 1 or 2 times and then you're done? And then I was also wondering, especially with like the more expensive ones, what's, I guess, kind of your philosophy on it? Because I imagine it must be kind of weird to put so much work into something and then maybe only show it off a few times and then it kind of just sits there as something that you've made, but maybe you don't necessarily use a lot. So is there like a certain mentality maybe you have with that or that you go into with?
I make the cosplay for me and for photos. So photo shoots are really important because that kind of embodies what you've made. Because definitely like this, after next weekend, I have cons 5 weekends in a row.
Oh.
And only 1 year. And I'm expected to have, you know, new cosplays for that. So a lot of times, like my Vincent, I wore it twice. And after the second time, I was like, I need a break from it. So you kind of get in, like, you get into the, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'm of the mentality now where I need something new. So if I wear it twice, that's like a success. And then I'll leave it for a few months and then maybe bring it back out.
Okay.
Or in a few months' time, I'll hate it and I'll get rid of it.
So is there, kind of going off that, is there anything that will make you like hate a cosplay, or is there a cosplay that you maybe have made that you really don't like for some reason?
I didn't love my Sonic. It looked great in photo, but not on the, I went on the con floor, I was really, really unhappy. Like the bodysuit halfway through the day lost all its shape. And so it was just kind of off of me, but I'm like, I had to like go put a coat on because I wasn't wearing much under it. Like it's a body. So that was actually probably one of my biggest failures cosplay wise.
No, but
Yeah.
I'm sure that you learned from that, right?
Yeah. Oh yes, many lessons from that.
Woo! Will you make a new Sonic maybe one day?
Yeah, I did think about it. There's a couple that I made like last year or like years before that I want to remake just to like compare them, you know, to see how much possibly better I could make them.
Ooh, you should do Sonic Boom because you know, Sonic Boom he needs love. I'm like the only Sonic cosplayer, the Sonic Boom cosplayer that I think I've seen out there. So we need another Sonic Boom cosplayer.
And Ace
There needs
Combat.
to be a whole article about all your Sonic in your collection. Like there could be just like a whole show of love it.
Oh, that would be awesome.
We're gonna have to do a cosplay Halloween episode this year.
Yes.
Come out.
Well, Lizzie, did you want to go ahead and, unless anyone had anything else, kind of move on to our next question?
Yeah, well, we can move on to next question if you want. Let's see. Number 2. Let's take a moment to talk about cosplay is non-consent. Explain what it is and what is. Aren't thinking too fast. And what is the importance of people knowing? Because I mean, I go to conventions. I've cosplay. I've been to New York Comic Con. I've been to other conventions. I know what it means. But you want to tell our viewers what it means so people know. One day, if like our viewers say, "Hey, I'm going to go to a convention," now they'll know what it means when they see it.
Yep. I think the most important part of cosplay is not consent is to remember that it means different things to different people. So like to some people, it's, you know, don't hug me without asking me. Whereas to other people, it's don't take a photo of me without asking me. Like, so I think it's important to be really sensitive to that because we do have a problem with that. And no matter how much we talk about it, it seems to still be happening. So for me, like when I think of cosplay as not consent, like just don't do it. Like if you have to question in your mind, would she be okay with this? Ask me. Like usually when people are like, "Hey, Sophie, can I give you a hug?" I'm like, "Yeah, because you asked." Like if you just come up behind me and hug me, I'm gonna punch you.
If I could do that,
Don't
Oh
do
yeah.
it.
Jesus.
It's so important. I made a whole video about it and I repost it on my page, and I think people get a little tired of it sometimes. But I'm like, no, like keep listening, keep listening. It's so not right. I've heard horror. I've never had anything really awful happen to me, but I've had friends who have just been like grabbed, like picked up, like just people don't come up behind them and pick them up in the air. Like who does that? You don't know that.
When you're 4'11", it happens.
Yeah.
Although that would be kind of ironic, right? Like you're wearing the Sonic Link cosplay, right? Somebody picks you up and goes da-na-na-na.
No, but I've had people grab my tail, like, "Oh, you're so cute." Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
that can
don't pull on the tail.
That
Yeah,
can
but
definitely be awkward.
Kidding aside though, folks. I guess the bottom line is, right, like hopefully you wouldn't be a jerk or be insensitive to somebody that wasn't in cosplay. So don't think that just because they're out trying to have fun, they're in cosplay or whatever, that doesn't automatically entitle you to be able to be in like play mode with them. So some folks are not up for that, and if you think, you know, ask. If you're embarrassed or scared to even ask because the answer might be no, just assume that it's no and don't act like a jerk.
Well, and
like costumes, people get that, like especially when they see like a character that's like their waifu, you know, it's like their dream character. They just go for it. Men and women also, like that's another thing. It's not just men that, it's women too. Like cosplay is not consent for women as well. Don't just go up and grab a guy. I saw a guy's groin get grabbed at a convention. Like you can't do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the first time I met Chris, he grabbed me.
Oh.
And his wife took a picture and posted it to Facebook.
She did.
Oh my.
So
Yeah.
Tyler visiting you is not consent also.
Yeah, because I remember New York Comic Con, there's like tons and tons of Batman cosplayers. I have a thing for Batman cosplayers, but I think because I'm like 4'11", and when you see someone dressed up as Sonic or as a schoolgirl or something, a Batman cosplayer looks down at you like, "Oh my gosh, he's so cute. Yes, you can hug me, but you know, you're so tempted, like, I can just grab his butt right here if I really wanted to." And I've done it a couple of times, but only because I can get
Was
it
he?
at my height. And the person, well, he was tall. You're like,
Cosplay is not consent, Lizzie. Come on.
Come on. Do as she says, not as she does, folks.
Yeah.
Don't pick on us tall guys. Okay.
Tyler is tall. I've met him before. He's not taller than me.
Taller than most people.
Yeah, but I think the hardest thing is because of my height. I've hugged, I've asked, and I've hugged Wonder Woman cosplayers, and you're like, it wasn't on purpose. It was just your height.
Right.
So
Right.
So height sometimes is a difficulty thing. Like for me, I cosplayed schoolgirls, you know, from different animes, Rukia from Bleach and things like that. You would be surprised how many people grab you, but sometimes they don't mean to. But there are always those little jerky guys who like quickly grab something, you know, take a picture, grab it, and then run off. So
Try to
careful.
spread their hand.
Oh
No friend.
Oh no, they do it so quickly, and then they just.
Just run away.
Not cool,
Anyway,
folks.
no.
Don't do it. Don't be that guy or girl, right?
But Chris gets consent to all our fans to grab his butt. Just saying.
Jeremy giving consent on behalf of Chris is not consent on behalf of Chris.
Trust me, he won't mind.
just putting that out there. Although String Bean Coffee says Lizzie can touch my butt if she wants to.
That's
G to the next level. It's totally switching gears like that never happened. G to the next level, who has his own show, which you can catch. Follow him as he follows us on Twitter. But he says, yes, Sophie, you should definitely do more Sonic costumes.
I did. It was one of my favorite to do. Like I love the photos, but then I see like photos of like, you know, con floor photos. I'm like, oh no, why?
If you cosplay as modern Sonic, I'll do Sonic Boom, or we can switch it around because I'm kind of short. So I could be classic Sonic. That'd be cute.
I'm 5'2" on a really good day.
Okay. Moving on to the next question. Jeremy, you want to ask the next question?
Number 8, right?
Yes, number 8.
Tell us about the pink light guns.
And I might be the
What?
only one besides you, Sophie. I might be the only one on that actually understands this right now. Although Lizzie probably knows too.
I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Jeremy, one more time.
Tell us about the pink light guns.
Pink. The ones from the princesses?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Okay.
I do know what's going on.
Those were Sissa's. I still have those somewhere, but everybody was obsessed with those. But she just spray painted them. She just bought them off Amazon and spray painted them.
Nice. So, folks, if you're wondering, they did Princess Peach cosplay, and they had pink light guns and stuff.
Yeah, it
So
was
it looked
art.
pretty neat. What was that? You cut out.
Oh, sorry. It was Princess Rosalina and Princess Peach skirts. The artist had done artwork as them as gunners, like Final Fantasy crossover, and that's what we were imitating her characters. So I wanted to give her credit. We didn't make
Nice.
it up.
Cool. Yeah, crossovers can be kind of hard to do sometimes and stuff, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you confuse people, because everyone knows what Orange Host Club is, right? You know Sophia, right?
Yeah.
Orange Host Club. I
Yep.
cosplay the main character, so I'm cosplaying a girl who's cosplaying a guy, and I'm really a girl.
Yes.
So that'll confuse you.
Oops.
Too many levels of recursion there. I think my brain crashed.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm a girl
Yeah.
cosplaying a girl who's supposed to be a guy. Watch the anime. It's a great anime. You'll understand.
It's
Welcome
an
back,
interesting
Mr.
anime.
Mania. You just missed. Kyle just stood on his table and did a shirtless dance for us, but you missed it. So
And you can't rewind. It's too late
Yeah.
now.
yeah, in fact, I think I just got a notice from YouTube because I have to edit that from the post show. So I'm sorry, folks, if you didn't see it live. Missed your opportunity there.
So I have a question. Another one. So like, you know, some people like you like build them for the most part. Other people buy them. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like building versus buying, or is one better? Is one worse? Does it matter at all?
I think it kind of depends what your end goal is. So like I mentioned, like if I'm building something that's very time consuming, I will commission a costume. And I don't think there's a problem with that. I think, again, so like if I'm guesting at a convention, I'm guesting because they see something in me, like skill wise, right? Like I'm supposed to bring something. So if you're like doing guest work, I suggest that, like my personal opinion is that you should have at least some costumes that you've made yourself. Because you're showcasing what you're making.
Yeah.
But overall, cosplay in general, I don't think it matters. I think that if you just love going to cons and you do panels and you're part of the community and you want to buy your costumes, no one should shame you for that. Like I thought you'd be surprised how many cosplayers who are on like guesting circuits buy some of their costumes, because sometimes you have to make a lot in a row and it's best to commission. Granted, they shouldn't be bought or like commissioned off of like spirithalloween.com. But depends what your goal is, you know, like where you're planning to go with it.
Yeah, I was just kind of, I guess, wondering, like, in the community, I guess, if there's more of a stigma towards people to buy versus the build, because I don't know anything about this. So
I definitely think there is. I see a lot of people getting a lot of hassle online for that. Like maybe they commissioned or bought, and that just blows my mind because they're just out to have fun. Like it's costume play. We're grown adults in costume. It's just not that serious. But again, on the other hand, if you're accepting like paying guest positions, I don't think you should show up in something that you bought from Spirit Halloween. At that point, I think that's disrespecting the con. So I think that it's a bit more complicated. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely think I get it, and especially because like it really depends on what you're trying to get out of it and what you're willing to put into it, right? Like if you're somebody, like you said, that you're motivated by, you like developing new skills, you like to kind of challenge yourself and like, okay, here's something I didn't even know that I could do, but now I can do it, and next thing you know, you're making your own molds, you're making your own props, you're hand, sewing some stuff, you're machine sewing some stuff, and you learn all these different skills in doing that. And then there's the other part of it too, which anybody that puts on the cosplay, whether it's something that they bought, I think, or something that they made, there's another part of it that's like me being comfortable enough with myself and what I'm doing, or with how much I enjoy something. Like ideally, I'm assuming somebody wouldn't go cosplaying a character that they just totally hated, right? Like, so there's a certain amount of like love and passion for the source material that the cosplay is meant to kind of emulate, and so but to have enough passion into it to be like, I want to be part of a representation of that brand or that character or whatever. I mean, there's some challenge there. So not everybody's going to have the skill necessarily or the time to say, I'm going to build every single piece from scratch, but maybe they really, really love a particular character from Final Fantasy or from Sonic or Mario or whatever. And I like that aspect of like, hey, if you like that and you just want to be around other folks that also like to kind of show off their favorite characters, feel free to do that. If you want to come off, as I'm professional / do this for a living, right, then I think really what you're saying is like, be clear about what you're showing that's you and your work and what you've done versus, what you're borrowing or leveraging. But either way, don't be ashamed of it.
Yeah,
correct.
Exactly.
Like Viva, for instance, I did wear that to Planet Comic Con. I was a cosplay guest at Planet Comic Con. I wore it, and people all weekend asked me if I made it. And every time, it's so important to be honest. Like I was like, no, this was commissioned, because that's another trap you get stuck in. I've seen girls who are great girls lie and tell people that they made a costume just because they're so afraid of that stigma that they didn't make it. So just honesty. Be honest about your goals. Be honest about who you are. Be honest about what you're wearing. It'll be fine. Like.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because like Chris was saying, I like to compare it to kind of like doing some tabletop like miniature gaming and stuff. Like for me, I can't put models together and I can't paint them because I'm just not into like the hobby aspect of it. I like someone else to kind of do that for me. That way I can play the game. That's the part that I enjoy. You know, whereas kind of like with cosplay, some people just like to wear this stuff, others like to make it or do both. You know, so like personally, I've done like maybe just a couple cosplays, but it's mostly just been like closet, just stuff you can actually, you know, buy at a store and then do that and everything. Because, you know, I'm not really a crafty person as far as that stuff goes. But like you guys said, it's, you know, it's about being fun, but also definitely be honest, you know, as well, if people ask you things like that.
Especially if you're in a position where like people are looking to you for something, or you know, they're genuinely like, just don't lie to people, man.
Oh yeah, because it will get around.
Yeah. Oh, quick.
If Lizzie has anything to say about it, it will get around.
So I have to ask, because you see my wig looks awful. Lizzie, though, yours looks very, very wonderful. I'm going to give the floor so people can see like how wonderful everything is, kind of nice and blended together, nice and everything. And then you look at, oh my, Sophie, like yours looks amazing. So how do you, like, is it in like the kind of wig that you get? Like how do you get the, like me, I'm afraid to comb the hair in the wig and have the wig just totally fall apart. So like, how do you style the wig or keep the wig styled so that it's not like just a mess? What's the trick? What's the secret?
Laundry.
We all got our own stories, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like I am actually really bad with wigs. So the amount of times I've replaced wigs for a single costume is pretty ridiculous because I just don't treat them like I should. I need to get better at that. But definitely, like, don't be afraid to brush it, but also just don't buy like cheap wigs. Don't buy $5 wigs. Like, that's
don't.
Total different.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I could get some tips. Like mine, like after a convention, I'll wash it because if anyone knows what con crud is, it's basically you're gonna catch the flu or some really nasty bug from a convention you go to. To wash the wig, you put like in a sink with water. I use baby soap and it's like just like wash it by hand, and then you lay it like on a towel to air dry, like kind of towel dry a little bit, but then let it just air dry. But there's like a certain kind of brush. It's like a single comb, big tooth comb brush, and just brush it lightly. But it also varies because this actually is supposed to be like spikes, but you know everything's falling out because I've washed it and all the glue hair stuff that they have has fallen out. But I'm gonna style this again to actually look like spikes. Like these actually require work, like that big head products you use, and you make the tips to look like quills, and you do it all differently. And if you look at Goku, could you imagine?
Yeah.
All that time.
For bikes like that is Elmer's glue on synthetic wigs, like Elmer's glue, and then that the yellow can, it's the glued hairspray.
Got to be glued.
Yeah, and
yeah.
You can even use tacky glue, like a very tip of it. Just use like tacky glue. That works too.
Oh wow!
I never heard of people using glue to style those. I always wondered like what you would do after you finish styling it, if you had to like wash it again or you just left it like that.
Oh
no!
Well,
I could stay like that forever. I'm not gonna unstyle it and restyle it. I put too much work into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just varies. Also, like for Sonic, I will buy those super long blue wigs and then put it like on a styrofoam head, and like put it into place. Start to put in place. I'll start to cut it. Like sometimes it's cheaper to buy those long wigs if you're gonna style it by yourself. I mean, that's gonna require work.
Right.
And you need YouTube and a lot of cool videos. Say, hey, so that's how you style it.
So that's pretty amazing, though. I mean, that's another hidden skill, though, right? Then the skill to be like that beautician / like, I mean, you're effectively
your own hairstylist.
Yeah, you're a hairstylist in that capacity, right? Legit.
And you gotta be patient, man. Some people don't understand. You gotta be patient with those things.
Yeah, I'm not. I have no patience. That's why I look like Krusty the Clown. So.
Great.
Well, what's interesting is like I actually have to wear the earmuffs here so that I can hold the hat on. The hat is fitted. Folks that watch the show know that the hat is fitted for the fact that I'm actually bald. But in real life. So one one of the reasons I'm thinking of getting into cosplay is just so I have like legit reasons to buy like not necessarily like wigs like this, but I just want to get like normal people wigs. Like just once I want to have like hair like Tom Cruise or something, and I don't want people to be all like, "Hey, what are you trying to do?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just cosplaying, right?" So
Hey man, 2017, you can wear whatever you want.
Yeah, man.
as long as it's not that spray on hair, right? Like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you don't want to do that.
The problem with that is you need some hair in order for it to fill in the gaps. I think if your whole head is the gap, I don't think the spray on hair works.
Yeah, so we can go ahead and segue kind of into the last question here, because we may talk about this quite a bit depending on what advice you have. But our last question, do you have any advice or maybe caution or wisdom that you want to share with folks that will be new to the cosplay scene? Especially maybe people who are trying to get their first cosplay ready, maybe are trying to decide on one, or like they have their first con that's coming up. Just anything for like people who are new to it that you would advise.
I always start with just do it. Like, there's a billion people in the cosplay community with a billion different opinions, and they're not always going to be the same as yours. Not everyone's going to love what you're doing. It's not about them. You should be doing it for yourself. How it's costume play. I think a lot of people choose not to cosplay because they're afraid of not being good enough, or not having enough. Their cosplay wasn't expensive enough. There's all these different stigmas: not being thin enough, not being thick enough, because that's a thing now.
Yeah.
Just a billion things that you're not enough, and it's not about anyone else when anyone else thinks. The internet is full of keyboard warriors, and I think that's made cosplay both better because it's connected us all. Like, we would never have met. Like, we're on different parts of the country, so it's connected the community, but also divided it in ways. And so I know a lot of people who have come up at panels at cons and like, I'm just really afraid to get started. Don't be. Do it. Don't let it what anybody else says. Like, other people's opinions have to stay online where they belong.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't get, sorry, you know about that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and there's just so many different things too. Like I know the biggest thing among cosplayers is probably the race issue. I mean, we're all different races. I mean, it's a fact. I mean, I've seen some gorgeous girls who cosplay Sailor Moon, and they're black, and they are just beautiful, and they get hate. And same thing with guys. I go, no, you know what? Your race doesn't matter, because I mean, come on, I'm Hispanic. I'm not Asian, so don't say, oh, you're ugly because you're not Asian. You can't cosplay a maid or Sailor Moon or whoever. I'm still gonna cosplay. I mean, I'm mostly focused on him right now. But race is probably a big issue. Of course, height. I'm 4'11". Everyone tells me this. You're meant to cosplay short characters like Rukia, Lena Enver, Sonic the Hedgehog. Anything short, people tell me you should cosplay that. I tried to cosplay Wonder Woman one time. And nothing here, and at this height, you're like, oh, you must be Wonder Girl. You're like, you know what? I'll give you another Wonder, but it won't be what you're thinking.
You know what, folks? I want to be the first to say that if Lizzie wants to cosplay Hagar from Final Fight, I'd be 100% behind it. So you should be able to, or Sagat from Street Fighter 2, right? Like. You should be able to cosplay whoever Dulcim, right?
These characters are all topless, by the way.
And anybody you want. Like next con, you be E Honda, and I'll be.
But they're topless. They're. What am I gonna do with those?
Yeah, everybody you're naming is topless, Chris. Like.
Thanks, Chris.
Well, hey, it's not that is a double standard though, right? Like, I mean, that's a topic for another show, but it's not my fault that anytime there's dudes or dudettes in these games, right? Like some of these costumes, like, and I'm sure you've probably seen this, Lizzie and Sophie. Some of these costumes, have you ever found a costume that like you really want to do it, but you realize it's just physically impractical in real life to actually pull off?
I've kind of fallen in love with Bayonetta, but I'm like, my God, how would I do that?
Confidence, a lot of confidence,
and tape.
So like the dudes are like, oh, just put them in shorts, right? Just put them in shorts. like with the women, it's like, well, we can't show them naked because there's this like cultural, like we can't even do the top half naked thing because there's this cultural like built-in stigma and all this other stuff. So like, but at the same time, how do we get as close to it as possible, but still get an MA or an MA13 at the most, right? And then you get these really, I'll say, creative costume designs in the game that you're just like, I'm pretty sure that you can't have that little material holding that much mass. I don't really think that works.
Oh, you guys would love Man-Faye. If y'all know Faye Valentine from Cowboy Bebop,
Oh yeah.
Man-Faye, you know Cowboy Bebop, that is one confident, awesome guy. Hairy guy, but he cosplays the sexiest female anime character there is. Look him up, you will be like,
All right. Is he sexier than Link?
yes.
That's
Uh-oh.
impossible. That's
That's
impossible.
gonna be a problem for
We'll
Chris.
have to go. I'll be the judge of that.
Oh, Ladybeard. Someone mentioned him. Yes, he is. Oh my goodness. Okay, if you guys don't know what that is, after
G
you
to the
finish
next
watching
level,
our
mention
show,
Ladybeard.
go to YouTube, type in Ladybeard, and just watch it. It's very glorious.
Gotcha.
Wonderful.
Mystic Mania says that he's Wonder Fun size.
You're what?
I think he's referring to when you talked about Wonder Woman and some people commenting that you were too small. He says that he is Wonder Fun size.
Ladybeard, I just
Thanks
saw
for
what
the
that was.
confidence.
I
So, what was that, Jeremy?
I just looked that up, Ladybeard.
Yeah.
So where do you get Sophie? Where do you get the inspiration for your cosplays? Is it gaming exclusively, or are there other sources as well?
No, in the beginning it was mostly comic book characters, and now it's kind of like gaming anime. Like I go through these phases. Like I just, I'm watching something or playing something, or I see something, and I'm like, I must be that person. I'm gonna be them right now. And my laundry list of cosplays is about like 40 deep. I will never get through it all.
Oh, wow.
So,
Is Attack on
Keep adding
Titan
more.
on that list? Is Attack on Titan on that cosplay list?
You what? Yes, Aaron Yeager. I want to do an Aaron Yeager. I want to do crossplay, a couple of crossplays. Like when I was talking about the run earlier, I don't want people to know I'm a girl. I want to do a couple where people like, I'm trying to get girls' numbers. And
That would be if you can get somebody to follow you around with a camera.
yeah.
Oh, I want to see this. So.
Yeah,
Aaron Yeager.
if you go and do that at Sacramento at SacAnim, I will follow you with a camera and we'll record people's reactions as you try to be a dude getting their number.
I'll
Oh,
see
you
that.
have to cosplay as Link though, Chris.
I have to cosplay as Link. What?
Yeah.
I've
You have
been
to
there.
be the cameraman. Cosplay as
man.
Link.
I've actually been there.
I can't do it. I'm not as sexy as Link.
No, I've actually been there. I actually have a story. A few years ago, I went to A-Con, and I want to go to A-Con again, but I just started a new job, so I can't go. But a few years ago, I went, and I met this guy, handsome guy, a little bit taller than me. We were at a room party because I'm friends with Squiddy, who like invited me to his room party, and I don't drink or anything, so he just made me a regular Coke, and we were watching anime. And that guy came in, sat next to me, and I was like, I wanna say hi to him. And we were chatting, and this girl sits next to him, and he's like, oh, don't worry about that. And we were just chatting, and then all of a sudden, he gets close to me, and he's like, I just want you to know, I'm actually a girl, but you are beautiful. And I'm like, well, who's that? And they go, oh, that's my girlfriend. And I'm like, so I've been hitting on this guy for 2 hours. But
Wow.
she led me on, but she was just gorgeous, and I was like, how? And she was like, oh, there's tape that we girls can use to cover all this up, so it flattens out, so you look like a dude. But I mean, I thought it was a real dude. I mean, everything, you know, the eyebrows, everything here was just like, it was like an awesome girl crossplane. I mean, she was just amazing. She broke my heart,
Yeah.
but it's okay. That was just an amazing cosplayer.
Lizzie, we were at a con together. I haven't missed an A-con in 8 years.
Well,
Wow.
I'll try to go next year. Definitely.
Good.
If you go.
I wonder if we like ran into each other and didn't even realize.
Maybe because I'm kind of short and everyone's tall around me, so maybe we have. But definitely, if it works out, we can like go next year. Maybe you can cosplay
I
Sonic
would rather.
Boom and I do Amy or something. I don't know.
If there was a girl Sonic that grabbed your butt, it was probably Lizzie. So speaking of crossplay, though, I've noticed we saw in the pre-show, but if you scroll up just a little bit, Sophie, you have the Ratchet and Clank poster there from the movie. So, and I was just thinking in terms of crossplay and everything, it occurred to me like you might look really interesting as a Lombax.
That is a good idea, actually. That's really interesting.
I could just see like with the ears, right?
You gotta stop adding things to my list.
No pressure. It's not an
I
expectation,
could do
but
Have it done by June. Okay.
yes, done by June. Done by June.
So, since we're talking about stories, Sophie, do you have any interesting convention stories you'd like to share with us?
Speaking of A-con, so we were in the room. I'll keep it short. It's a long story, but we were in the room and the fire alarm goes off as was 3 years ago. And the fire alarm had gone off because in the rave, somebody had, this is about cosplays, not gone up to a cosplayer and just whipped it out. That cosplayer spray, sprayed them and yelled rave around them and had to clear out old pal.
Oh wow.
I'm sorry, I was having a hard time hearing.
I know. I'm like, I know what's going on.
I heard somebody like whipped out their intimate parts and ended up getting maced, and ended up the person doing the macing to protect themselves maced half the crowd. Is that what I understood?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, in a terrible way, but that's awesome. No, it's an awesome story. Man.
That's awful.
Tyler's like, man, I want to go to a con now, see some people get maced.
Hell yeah.
They constantly every year.
Now, were you at that? You were at that con, or you heard about it?
I was at the con. We were in our room and the alarms went off, like the fire alarms, and we were like, oh, we gotta get downstairs. And so we were out on the lawn for like 30 minutes before people figured out what had happened.
Wow.
Wow, the
Yeah,
craziest
A-con
things happen at cons.
Yeah.
So, folks, don't be that man or woman that gets half the crowd maced because you can't keep your hands to yourself. So and
I've
also,
maced before. It's not fun.
like I don't get it. Like especially like in a public setting, and I understand from I have a couple other female friends on my Facebook that have actually like posted like very frustrated posts about like I guess this is like a real thing, like males sending females pictures of their junk totally unsolicited, like it wasn't asked for, it wasn't in any way even implied that it was like dudes, don't do that. That's not, trust me.
Who wants to see it?
Yeah, you may think it's amazing, but it's not so amazing that people just want to see it. Like if they do want to see it, they will ask. So if they don't ask, don't assume they're just too shy. Just keep it to yourself.
Don't be like Turf.
Yeah, I always tell people to send them to you.
Send them to me. No.
Well,
Turf does
in that
it.
case, Chris, no pictures.
Yeah. But I gotta say, I think the best part about like with the cosplaying and going to anime conventions is probably just getting together with your friends, especially when it's like 1 a.m. and you got out of the party or out of the dance and you order pizza. Just hang around in the lobby with all your pals. That's probably like one of the best things. Even Pocky. If those of you who never heard of Pocky, go to your Kroger's or Fiesta or whatever and go buy some Pocky. That stuff is really good.
So speaking of that, actually, that kind of brings up another good question for anyone that's going to be going to their first con. Is there any suggested I guess you could say, schedule like how many days they should go or any activities like they should participate in going to their first con to try to kind of get the most out of it and get a good con experience.
Bring soap. Take a dang shower, people.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. But I just do like people. A lot of people don't realize that most cons like their schedules out beforehand. A lot of the bigger cons have apps now. Like plan it out. Like make a schedule. Like if this is your first con, like go for all of the days if you can. Find panels, find new panels, things you don't know about. Go to like a lot of cons have like hidden markets. Like spend time in the dealer's room. Just try to do everything because there's. Like at A-Con, like there's the maid cafe, there's concerts, like it's the amount of stuff to do 24/7 is insane. So
yeah,
try to get it all.
Definitely, but budget your money correctly. You definitely want to have money. Don't come to this con poor and broke, because then you're gonna cry when you see everything.
Yeah. So I guess we'll end on this note, like because Lizzie, you mentioned poor and broke. So how does so cosplay takes a lot of time. It's mainly passion projects. Costs a lot of money. If somebody wants to support the hell out of you doing cosplay, what's the best way for them to do that?
Patron. I have a lot of great rewards, and I'm working on a lot more. I want to make sure that I'm always giving more than I'm getting, because it does mean a lot when people send their hard-earned money to help support this thing I'm doing. But Patron is definitely the best way. I have all kinds of cool stuff on there that you can pledge towards. Also, if you just want to print, like prints help too, and I have a print store, and I try to keep my print prices as low as possible. I'm always in sales. That's on Store Envy. And it's all OhMy Sophie. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. Everything is just OhMy Sophie.
Yep, folks, we'll have links to that stuff down in the doodly-doo after the show has been baked and available for post-line viewing. So check out some of her cosplays. They have been absolutely amazing. You can follow her on Twitter. As she mentioned, you can also support her on Patreon, and you can also you can grab her prints online and stuff. So we are at time. So folks, I want to thank everybody in the chat who kind of, contributed to the show and everything. I know Mystic Mania said that he wants to cosplay as a successful person who has friends and respect, but he likes to stay real to himself. Mystic, as long as you're not sending people, unasked for pictures of your junk, you got friends here, my friend. So,
except for Chris.
No, you can't. It is also not okay to send me. Tyler giving consent is not consent. But yeah, folks, we love having you in the chat. It's really, really great. It's kind of an extension of what we have here on the show. And it's really cool because we're seeing the same folks in the chat just about every week. We see some new faces now and then, but we're seeing a lot of return faces. So String Bean Coffee, so glad to see you back. We included a link to them down in the doodly-doo. One of our followers in the chat there has his own coffee store, and so you can stop by and check that out if you're in Virginia. So give another shout out for that. Folks, it's been really, really fun. Hopefully you learned a bit about cosplay. Hopefully you learned a bit about kind of cosplay, what would you say, code of conduct, right? How one should conduct themselves. Basically, don't do anything toward that person in real life, in cosplay that you wouldn't do toward them in real life. And if you do bad, awful stuff to them either way, you should probably rethink your life strategy. So, so we'll catch you next week.